them for a week, so don't have access to my usual setup.
Okay, no worries. I just
Awesome.
got a one moment. What day is today? Wednesday. Just gonna block
Is it
out my
Wednesday actually?
calendar. Tomorrow, not
Well, okay.
today. Um, yeah, it's interesting taking calls for this fitness offer. It's the first time I've sold fitness. Sold,
Really?
yeah, I sold like everything else, but these people are not like coming on with a lot of pain. They're not. They're typically already working out in good shape, but it's like they're kind of go from like let's say good to great. So bit different, but interesting. How's things
Yeah.
going with you?
I mean, oh man, bro, it's I saw Reyes is going hard in San Antonio right now,
Hmm.
and I was like, well, I definitely can't lower my price. That's one thing for sure. So I sat down with Tyler earlier today, and he said just to record a new ad.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit afraid, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of money, and I don't have my job. I took out a $16,000 loan just to keep going, and all credit cards are maxed out, but I'm willing to make that work because I know this works. So, I'm gonna record the ad tomorrow. I got my videographer on, and then I'm gonna send it to the editor. I'm gonna launch two ads at $70 a day, not each 70, but 35 and 35, and we'll see what happens. I think I can't let fear dictate my life. I can't like worry. I just have to keep going head on, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then at least I know I kept going. But I don't see it not working out. That's just how I feel right now.
Yeah, yeah. How would you describe your emotional state right now?
Uh Earlier today, like when I was thinking about doing it, after Tyler told me to do it,
Hmm.
I went to HEB with my mom, and I started getting a little bit of a panic attack.
Hmm.
Like not there, but I started feeling this pressure in my chest, and I got a migraine in half my face. I was like,
Yeah.
man, like I started feeling really bad, but I was like, no, I have to let myself feel this. And what I've noticed is every time I feel like extreme fear, but I go with it regardless, it always works out no matter what. So like when I left that job,
Yeah.
because I had a month to keep going, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So that Monday, that deal came in out of nowhere. And so I feel
Yeah.
like as long as I'm like tuned into like the frequency, I guess, it's just gonna happen no matter what. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's kind of how
Yeah.
I feel.
Interesting, dude. I felt the same way when I told Boris that I didn't want to sell for him anymore. I felt good
Yeah.
in the moment and I went out. I went to like a salsa dance class, which was the first time I ever did it, and I
Mhm.
was feeling good. I left and I started walking to meet a friend, and then like I got hit with like a massive wave of like overwhelm. I was like, oh shit, like what did I just do? Like why did I do that?
Yeah.
So I definitely get it.
So wait, what does that mean? I didn't know you were not going to sell for Boris anymore.
I haven't sold for him for like a month.
Oh wow. Okay. So you're still going to be here though, right?
Yeah, until Boris, doesn't want me on the team anymore, which
Oh man.
might happen, but
No way. Are
I
you
enjoy
serious?
it. No, I mean, I don't think so, but uh,
Okay.
in general, dude, um, I've been going through this like a ton of manifestation stuff. I bought this seminar. It was just from this guy, and I was listening to it, and what he says is pretty much a reinforcement of what I know. But you have two basic emotions. You either feel good or you feel bad. And essentially, what he's saying is like, okay, if you're feeling bad, you're actually, same as my YouTube video, really. He's just reinforces. It's like that means you're focused on, uh, basically what he says is like you're focused on not getting the thing, or you're focused on the how, or uh, you're basically resisting it. Let's call it resisting the desire because you don't believe it's gonna happen basically. So there's like three things there. Uh, the whole thing with law of attraction is like he kind of I mentioned my story today or maybe yesterday,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
I
like
watched it.
okay, if this is like our radar here of all the things that we think, you know, okay, like we're running ads, we're doing content, we're sending DMs, we have calls. Okay, cool, but how am I going to get to 30K a month or even 10K a month or whatever? This is like, well, if what you want exists out here, in reality, the diameter of this is like 3 inches, but this whole point is like there's this massive. This is imagine this is like 100 feet. This is like everything that's outside of your awareness, right? So if you can imagine uh, all these other factors, trillions of factors which could line up. If this is like the let's say 10K month, you're like, well, it's not in my route. Like, I don't feel like it's possible because you're focusing on the how. Like, how am I going to do that? The whole
Yeah.
point of the practice is essentially like you essentially just only focus on the 10K and you forget about the how. You let the universe kind of, figure that stuff out. All you have to do is number one, the biggest goal is to feel good now. And there's many ways you can do that. Just focus on things that you appreciate, that you're grateful for. You could focus on how it would feel getting the 10K as if you already have it. What would you spend the money on? Who would be the first person you tell? Man, like how happy you would be. That's the first step. Like feeling good, right? And most people, like the reason why we have goals in general is to feel good, to feel better, right? So number two, um, is like when he said there's like three ways to basically to do manifestation. You can go either specific, general, or you can like focus on the feeling.
Mhm.
Um, they all work. In general, what he's saying is like you should have some things that are specific, like I want to make 10K in my business, or like what would the feeling of making 10K be like? It's like, well, I feel secure now. I feel confident. I feel free, right? So that's another thing. Also, if you're looking at like, what's up, Julian? If you're looking at the language, if you're trying to manifest stuff, like a lot of people might they use the wrong language, right? Let's say, um, you know, let's say you try to find a new girlfriend. They'll be like, I want a girl who doesn't drink or smoke. In reality, like what frequency are you putting out? You're going to attract a girl who drinks and smokes. The whole thing is like, well, no, you want to be affirmative. Like, no, I want a girl who has a healthy lifestyle and habits like me. In other words, like I don't want to pay off my debt. I want to be debt free. It's just like little things like that. And then the next piece of this, once you are locked in on what you want, say it's 10K months, well, the more you can increase your emotional intensity around that. In other words, your excitement, your like how it's going to feel. So one part is intensity, another part is duration of how long you're feeling that at one time, or like because basically the whole idea is like our brain, it's like a radio, it receives frequencies and sends them out.
Right.
So like the stronger the intensity, the stronger the the frequency, right? The longer you feel it, the better, and more often you the more often throughout the day you feel that, the better as well. However, there's certain times of the day where, um, based on your brain waves, where you're more likely to attract it. They say it's like when your brain's going between alpha and theta, which is essentially either meditating or just waking up or just going to bed. So I usually do these things just before going to bed. And by the way, it works like crazy. It like it, like basically, I'll give you an example. Like I spoke to a girl a week and a half ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'm offering to do a free sales call review. Like, if you like it, you find value from it, we can talk about working together. If not, hey, at least you get the value from it. And she's like, oh, I'm interested. But that was like a week and a half ago, and I had, she hasn't been really responding. And then last night, I'm like, okay, I was like, visualizing like opening my DMs, and she sent me the calls, and she's like, let's do this. I'm excited. Da da da. And then I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I had two calls from her. She's like, hey, here's some calls. I was like, cool.
Oh wow.
And so the last piece of this is your belief. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I know and I feel like this is about to happen, like it's just around the corner. Like one is like, ah, dude, this is like super far outside of my reality. Like basically they say the sweet spot is something where you feel intense desire for it, and also you feel that anticipation, like it's just about to happen. And the lower your belief is, the longer it takes to manifest. You're essentially resisting it.
Yeah.
Uh, Julian, you're probably like, what the hell are we talking about? Expecting to talk about sales, but let's talk about how to manifest stuff. And
One
so,
thing, one thing that I do, and tell me if it's right or wrong, because I'm real big on that, but I kind of try to have a Christian perspective on it because I think having faith that God will provide is pretty good too. But let me just show you real quick. Is
yeah,
that all right? I want to show you what I do on my end.
yeah.
Because
The last piece, if there's a seesaw here, one of them is like the what you want, and then the other thing is like how you're going to get it. They basically say, uh, do not focus on this at all, which also means detach from the timeline. Because, um, like for example, let's say that uh, mm, it's like there's a certain client that you want to close. I really want this client to close, and like the whole idea is like God or the universe knows what's best for you. And so this client might not close, and you might get all pissed about it. You're like, man, it didn't really work. But then a week or two later, you get a client that wants to pay you 10K, and it's just like we don't, you know, there's a bigger force that's kind of like looking up.
it is crazy because I had this remodeling company that I really wanted to close, but it just didn't work out with her. A month later, I closed a remodeling company that same
Yeah.
industry, but I don't know. It just I think it's crazy. I don't know. Can I share my screen and show you real quick the thing?
Yeah, it's not hold on. It's not letting
Oh,
me what's going on with this thing? It's not letting me stop sharing. Why don't you try to share your screen? Maybe oh, there we go.
nice, nice, nice. Okay, so where is it?
And by the way, Julian, if you have any sales questions, feel free to ask away or type them in the chat if you want.
Okay, I guess here's where it's
Okay.
gonna be. If it's working, uh, can you see my screen?
Uh-huh.
Do you see the like the Claude?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so like what I'm doing is like there's stages to it. Proof of concept, close the deal. And then over here where the bridge burns, you leave Chick-fil-A, go all in, whatever. But where is it? There was visualization practices that I had in place here where
Uh-huh.
on this part right here, I would write a letter of resignation
Yeah.
and I had to like physically type it and visualize in my head even though it didn't happen just yet, but I was doing that, right? Um,
Sure.
stage three is what's it called? Where I get this car, maybe it's this one. Here it is. This is the right one. Stage three is where I get the Mercedes G63 or E63. And I had visualized it and I signed the E63 document. Here's all the information on it. I go down here, sign my name, and then I executed the agreement. And I'm visualizing everything going on, and
Yeah.
agreement is going, everything's there. Stage three or wherever it's at. I have a prompt where I have to visualize it, read it every day, and then I write my notice where, hey, thanks, whatever. I got fired, didn't go the way I wanted it, but it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just weird, but that's what I do. I'm not sure if it's the same.
Interesting. I think it's a bit different since you're reading through it. So like, you know, um, y since you're reading through it, your brain's going to be in like beta, which is not conducive to manifesting, but it's way better than nothing. Um, I would
Yeah.
sit there like I noticed you had a few things on there like moving in with your girlfriend, um, having your like physique, like a dream physique, the car, getting to 12K per month. Those are really like four things. What they're also saying is like if your let's say your intentions or your desires or whatever are kind of scattered, like you kind of want to focus
Mhm.
on like what's your chief aim. What is one that's going to allow you to do the other ones? And it's probably going to be getting to at least 12K a month, which is only two
Yeah.
calls a month.
Yeah.
Really one if you pitch it right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had that same exact thought when I was doing it. Like there's my mind is scattered on all these things that I'm trying to do, but the thing that's gonna move the needles obviously sells. And
Yeah.
I feel like everything that you teach about state is so important too. Like today I had a sales call with this guy. Bro, I was so nervous. I was like, like what? I need this deal. But then I was like, bro, no, I don't need this deal. I'm
Yeah.
good. And so I just went in, started asking questions. But then he started telling me, yeah, like my bank account's negative. Like some days I'm negative 500 and other days I'm up 10. And right now I'm just waiting on a payment of 2K so I can pay my team. And I was like, this guy's not gonna close. I already know he's not gonna close because of what he just said. And then at that point I was like, see, like you were stressing out over nothing. And the guy's over here telling me now he's having issues with his wife and he's working 15, 16 hours and he doesn't have money. I'm just like, I still pitched him, but it just didn't go the right way.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, some people do. It's like it's frustrating in sales when you talk to someone. It's like, ah, man, like this is someone who really needs it, and they're super open, and you can tell they like, you know, they're super serious, but they just can't do it. At least on paper, you could
Yeah.
always try to figure out, well, do you have access to money that you could borrow? Like, do you have, you know, uh, I don't know, like a 401k or something you could partially liquidate or a retirement fund or a rainy day fund. Do you have lines of credit? Can you get lines of credit to your business? Do you know people that could do the affirming Klarna for you so that you could, you know, basically make this happen? Worst
Yeah.
case, you're like, if all those things are no, really all you can do is just like create some type of plan with him where he can get started once he, I don't know, comes up with 2K or something like that.
I was a little hesitant with him to give him the price. To tell him, you know what, bro? Like, I know money's an issue right now. Why don't we reschedule or schedule another call for sometime next week once you actually have money, and then we can talk. He was like, well, I made the time to be here. Why would I reschedule? Like, I'm here. I want to know. And I was like, what's a respectful thing? Tell him the price or tell him like, you know what, we can't move forward. Let's wait until next week. So I was like, I gotta respect him. He respected my time, so I just told him the price.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems to be like a bit of a pattern for you, which is like hesitation or like feeling some type of way about your price. Like, what do you think is behind that?
I don't really feel any hesitation. I feel like it's more of um just just like, hearing him like the way he was talking and how he kept saying my business is a roller coaster and I was like, man, this guy definitely does not have money right now. Like I just heard it was like I know if I tell him he's not gonna come back. But if I keep the price and I wait until he actually does have money, then we can we can probably have a higher chance of closing. Because I mean, I look at Reyes, I look at other guys in the group, they're selling it for 8K, 10K, even 15K. I'm like, my
Mm.
price is actually extremely low compared to
Yeah.
everyone else's. So I'm like, I even feel like I'm cheating myself sometimes. Maybe in the beginning I was a little hesitant because I've never sold such high ticket. It was usually like $1,000 a month, like SEO packages. Now it's like, but I genuinely feel like they're getting an extremely good deal when I tell them 6K. Like you
Yeah.
go to Reyes, it's the same exact strategy, just double the price.
Yeah. I mean, if I was selling against Reyes, I'd be like, look, you know, yeah, you could go with Reyes. He has more case studies, bigger team, but you're going to be working with like his CSM versus if you work with me, it's like I'm like working directly with you.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that in mind, it's pretty much the same strategy. It's just like, do you want to pay twice as much for it, or and like also be in a group training with like probably not even talking to Reyes that much, or do you want, you know, one-on-one customization, hand holding, somebody who's there, you know, like me, like 24/7.
And I
But
guess like when it comes to like manifesting and stuff, this mindset right here, would it be it's better that I focus more on the ideal client instead of worrying about like what can go wrong, right?
yeah, so essentially the idea is like if you're getting anxious or nervous or afraid or whatever, you're basically manifesting that he won't buy, pretty much.
Huh. Yeah.
So let's see what Julian said here. So I just offered my offer to two businesses, a surf camp slash surf coaching. That's cool. And a private
Yeah.
gym who I did previous work with, but they both said the exact same thing. I'm already doing all of this, running ads through Instagram, having combo with them at DMs and closing them. But they aren't doing the exact same thing. The gym client cost per lead is around $12, and the surf guy doesn't even know. Huh. Okay. Well, like if there's, I mean, there has to be some type of gap. Either it's not working at the level they want, or it's taken them too much time and bandwidth to do it, or they feel like they could be making more money if they had better quality content, or maybe like they feel like part of their strategy isn't working. Like otherwise, like why would they? Why wouldn't they just keep doing what they're doing? Right. So that would basically be the angle to uh to attack that.
Okay. So like ask questions like how long have you been trying to make Instagram work?
Like, okay, so you're doing, so you're basically, in your opinion, at least, you're doing the same strategy. Yeah, how long have you been doing that? Okay, last month, how much did you spend on ads? And then how many leads did you get? How many appointments did you get? How many did you close? What did you charge? How much revenue did you collect? How much cash? How like what was your profit margins on that? Okay, like from there, if you really want, if those are like low numbers, and you could probably ask like, okay, how much are you paying yourself? Like where if at all is there's usually at least either one metric which is really bad, right? It's like, okay, you're getting all these leads but you're not converting them, or you're getting a lot of calls but they're not closing, or you're just not getting that many leads, or it's costing you a ton to get your leads. Is there a way, like let's say for example somebody's spending 3K a month, just throw out arbitrary numbers. They get 100 leads, 3K a month, they close 10 of them, right? But like, let's say 30 of them book. And then it's like, okay, well, 30 of them are booking, but only one third are closing. Why do you think that is? Oh, well, a lot of people, they don't really trust, they don't really trust me. Like, okay, well, what do you think is causing that? Well, I don't know. All right, well, like, let's look at your sales process. Let's look at your brand, your content. Hey, looking at your Instagram profile like right now, like let's say it's kind of amateurish. Like if you were signing up for you, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like I 100% trust this guy, one being like I don't trust this guy almost at all. Like what would you be just looking at your own profile? Probably like a 5. Okay. And so do you feel like that's part of the reason why only 10, like 30%, I guess, are converting on your sales appointments? Yeah. Okay. So if we can just fix that, how many more sales do you think that you might close? Let's say that we get that from like a 5 to like a 7 or an 8 or 9. Well, I think I could probably close another, 5, 10 deals. Okay, gotcha. So essentially, by you not having the correct content, the correct whatever, like it, who knows whatever the problem is, essentially that's costing you 5 to 10 deals a month at XYZ price point, which is, you just do the math. So that's somewhere between 15 to 30K a month or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, like, given that this is costing you somewhere between 15 to 30K a month, in other words, what is that? Like, I don't 180 to 360,000 a year. Where are you at in terms of like, you know, where are you at in terms of like solving like your, I guess your priority to solve this or like to fix this?
Hmm.
Oh, well, now that you mention it, yeah, it's pretty high. Okay, and you know, let's just say that you know we're only able to increase it by like half of that, so 70, I don't know, like 90K to 120 or 100. That's not like that sounds 180. Like, I guess what issues are coming up in the business as a result of you not making as much as you feel like you should? Like, what's going on right now that makes you even want to do that? Why not just say where you're at? Oh, well, dude, yeah, I mean, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. Okay. So it's preventing you from hiring people. What's going on as a result of that? Oh, well, dude, I'm working way too much. Oh, like, okay. Like, how many hours did you work last week? 60. Oh, wow. Okay. And like, I guess why is that a problem? Oh, well, dude, like, I got a wife and kids at home. I don't see them that much. Oh, how long's that been going on for? Yeah, dude, like a long time. Okay. I mean, how's your relationship with your wife and kids? Is it getting worse? Yeah, let's like keep digging and keep getting more and more specific. And then
Okay.
we like the conversation started off with like, hey, I'm already doing this. So like, oh, there's actually a big gap now. It is urgent. I don't think I can solve it myself, and I do want help. And then also like if it's costing them whatever 90K a year or more, I mean, is six grand to solve it that big of a deal? Not really. Not to mention taking time away from your kids, which is probably more important, or the wife or whatever. This is like obviously an example.
Okay.
I also feel like sometimes those guys would just straight up say like I'm already doing it. And if you don't have any testimonials or you haven't had others, work with you, they'll probably just be like, nah, I don't believe you. So I think it's better just to focus on like the leads that are coming in right now instead of, in my opinion, trying to close other people like that you've worked with already.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like if you already worked with them, the trust is there's a higher level of trust than a cold lead. Also, if somebody's doing it and it's not quite working, those are the easiest people to close because you just have to show them, well, okay, well, here's why it's not working. It's this, this, and this. Like,
Hmm.
and then you just tie it down that, you know, they don't know how to do that themselves or they want help if they do. And then
Um,
show them how much it's costing them, get into why, if they do, they need to change it now, like what's going on in their business, in their life.
with that lead that I spoke to today, because he started saying I have to ask my associate, which he didn't tell me had a business partner, which is a lie. Just this other guy who has an office. He was like, I want to ask my associate if I can go record in his office the ad. And I was like, okay, well, just so you know, if you take action today, the total cost will be 6,000. Next time we talk, it's gonna be 10. So I was like, either you take action
It's a big
today.
jump.
Oh man. Yeah, I told him that. I was like, yeah, next time we talk, it'll be 10,000. So I was like, why don't we just lock it in right now and then we can make that work. Like we can get it done. He's like, yeah, I mean, I gotta talk to my associate. I'm like, well, what is there to talk about? But and then he just
Like,
left the call.
why does he have to sign? Why does he have to shoot it from his office?
I have no idea. He said he just wants to make the office look nice. Because I was like, we're gonna go to like these landmark areas in San Antonio, and then later on we can go in the at and shoot it in the office if you want. I was like, it doesn't have to be in the office, and he was just very persistent on wanting it to at least feature the office. I was like, we can make it work. But then once I kept pushing, he just quit the call. Like he just like immediately disappeared. And so I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. And then that's when I texted him like, "Hey man, we got disconnected." I was about to call him, and he called me, and he's like, "Oh, yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to think about it, but you said at the beginning of the call if we couldn't make it work, you'd send me in the right direction." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, Can you just send me in the right direction?" And I was like,
Well, you
"Well,
need to do this.
yeah." I was like, "I'll send you a video, but it's really just a recap of what we talked about on the call and pitching another call." But I mean, I really felt like he was not qualified when I talked to him and he started telling me all these money problems. I was like,
Oh,
this
that's the
guy,
same guy, right?
yeah, same guy. And so I was like, yeah, this guy is definitely not gonna jump in. I can tell. So, and then especially that he just, I don't know if you ever had it happen to you where they leave the call, like, and you're barely, like, you're talking. I was like, bro, like, that felt a little disrespectful. Like, I know he probably didn't mean it that way, but I was like, bro, I was talking. It's like some guy walks away from you mid-conversation. But yeah,
Yeah, that's that just happens. Some people are like that.
yeah. But who knows if he'll come back? I really don't think every single person that I've pitched, they never come back. They don't answer my DMs. They don't like I'll send them Loom videos, like, but you know,
Yeah, I mean the whole like 6K if you sign up today or 10K, that's like a massive drop. You know,
yeah,
that might be part of the problem. You know, the way I would if you're going to do like an incentive based close where to get them to sign up now, I'd be like, okay, cool. So, um, so the way that works with us in terms of the investment, we use whatever you want to call it, like an action taker's discount or incentive based pricing, where essentially we're incentivizing you financially to make a decision on the call. We do that for two reasons. Number one, our best clients, they get the best results. They are decision makers. Number two, it just saves me a ton of time and going back and forth to people that, either may or may not be that serious or whatever the case is, just, they're indecisive. So in dollars and cents, the everyday price for this program is $10,000. So if you leave, you want to go think about it, come back tomorrow, come back in a week, a month, 6 months, it's going to be 10K unless I happen to raise it, which I do. But with the action takers discount, you have two options available to you right now. Number one, you can do you just have to make it, I would either do like 70, I think I would do 7,500. So you could do 7,500 split up over two payments of 3,750, 30 days apart, or you can pay in full, so which saves you 2,500, or you can pay in full 6K, which saves you $4,000. Any questions on how that works? And you could like play around with that. But like the thing with that is, being firm with people, or if they're like, oh, can I think about it? It's like, well, you can, but if you come back, it's going to be 10K, right? If you want to hold that incentive based discount, you could put down a deposit of, let's say $500 or whatever, so that like, how, I guess, first of all, how long do you need to think about it? I need like a day or two. Okay. Like what's coming up for you that makes you need to think about it? Oh, well, I need to talk to my business partner, do this and that. Okay. Well, if you want to hold the discount, well, then what we could do is put down a refundable deposit of $500. just that way, just to, be so that I'm in integrity. It's something where, you're still putting down a commitment. You can go and get whatever business you need handled, and then we can just go from there. Um, Otherwise, if you come back, if you don't do that and you come back in like a day or two, it's going to be 10K. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. What card would you want to put the deposit on?
And should we, because when I was in the old coaching program that I was in, they would tell us we would have to get their card information. Like, do we do it for them? Like, for example, the previous
I
closes
would
that
just
I did.
ask that, and they'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Visa." I'm like, "Okay," and I would just send them the payment link for the
Okay.
deposit.
Okay. Because that's what I've been doing. In the old way, I would be like, hey, just give me the card information. And then from there, we would just turn on the retainer. And now that I have their card information, to automatically bill them every month. But
Yeah,
you know, sometimes doesn't go that way. But yeah, that's basically everything that happened today, and hoping to close more now that I have more time.
yeah.
The goal here is I'm gonna go in, read Max, and that's it. I'm not gonna take it super serious. I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna treat every single
Mhm.
sales call as a learning experience. I'm gonna apply what I've learned, and then the end is whatever happens, happens. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I think they can tell, like when I like previous calls, like they meant so much to me because I was working at Chick-fil-A, and then every time a new opportunity came in, I was like, I gotta take this super seriously because this is like my job, and I can leave my job. Now it's like, well, I know I'm gonna find other opportunities here and there throughout the rest of the week. You know, they close, they close. If not, it's no big deal. At least I'm making progress. I don't know if that's the right mindset, but I'm not like trying to remember
Yeah.
the framework mid-conversation. I'm not gonna like, they say something. Oh, where are my notes? I just following your framework, just letting spirit-led framework.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like in general, I mean, I would say it's like half right. It's like, yeah, you don't want to be necessarily attached to the outcome, but definitely to the process of like making sure you're having a real conversation with them. You're finding the burden problem. You're getting all the other pieces, like the urgency, why they need to change it now. Ideally, like a cost, what it's costing them not to fix this, and ideally, if you can, getting them into ownership where they can see it's like, oh shit, I'm causing this. Other than that, yeah, I mean, the big thing is just controlling your state. Like pretty much
Mhm.
every, even on this fitness offer that I'm selling for right now, I was watching my calls, and in the moment, I thought that my state was pretty good, but when I watched it again, I'm like, what the hell? I seem kind of like awkward and nervous and stuff. Um, so it's like a constant thing to focus on and keep drilling in. But you're absolutely right that you just want to treat every call as a learning experience. After you, if you don't close the call, like in some way, you should be reviewing it ASAP so that you know why it didn't close. It's like, okay, oh, I could have asked this, or I could have said this, or I didn't ask this and this. Okay, I'm definitely gonna do that next time.
I had a question. I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
have a question. When
Yeah.
after I sat down with the surf guy, he was just like, I feel like I'm doing a lot of this. It's really similar to what I'm already doing. He's like, he's like trying to figure out how to work with me. He's like, what else could you show me? Like, what else could you show me? What else could you show me? There's something here that I'm missing. Like, what else could you show me besides this? And I was like, honestly, no. Like, this is what I've dialed in, and this is what we'll implement, and I'll help you build it out with you.
Well, did you go through his numbers to see how well his strategy is currently performing?
Yeah, that's what I asked him. I was like, okay. I was like, what's your cost per lead? Like, what are your numbers like? He's like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I have to go into that. And I think he was kind of like slightly uncomfortable with me talk about like exact number because we were inside like a busy coffee place and that, and I was like, okay. I was like, well, it's kind of hard for me to be like, okay, well, this isn't working, and maybe this is where, we gotta dial it in. If you don't know,
Yeah,
like,
if he
if you
doesn't know his numbers, what are you going
don't
to
know,
pitch him? Like, how are you going to pitch
yeah.
him?
And he's a cool surfer guy. He's like, yeah, honestly, like I get that. Like I don't have that for you, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe in a year when I launch my facility, like we'll definitely work together. And I love like he's like giving me awesome vibes. Like, oh, like he's like if you are interested in doing shooting content with me over the summer, like definitely just let me know. And your videos are really, really good and all that. Like he's a cool guy with me, but I'm like Christian, like what you're doing is really similar. Like, yeah, you're running the ads and you're doing these graphic posts. And he actually does like how he's like his summer camp is like booked out. Like he's pretty popular. I'm just like, but when you
Right.
look at this ad and this ad, they don't look as similar. Like you're not showing your face, and it's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. But I was like, dude, like it's not the same.
Yeah. Well, I guess I mean if his surf camps are booked out, like where is the pain? You know what I mean? Does he have other ways to
Mhm.
make money? Is that his only way of making money? Like, because
Mhm.
if he's at capacity, there's no other ways to make money. His shit's working. Like, where is the sale? Like there's no real argument for why he would need to do anything different.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I was like, honestly, like, I don't
And I would
I
tell
don't
him
know
that.
why right
Really,
now. Like,
listen, man, like I would love to work with you. I'm sure maybe there is a way, but from what I'm hearing, your surf camps are booked out. You're already doing the strategy, regardless of how good or bad it's working, it is working. And I'm just not hearing any real reason as to why you would need to do anything different unless I'm missing something.
hmm,
Are you managing your own ads? Are you making your own content? How much time is that taking? You know, how much time do you
mhm.
spend scripting your ads and your content a week and then filming and then editing them? Are you editing them yourself? Or how much are you paying for that? Like, but in all reality, does it even matter if he can't make any more money by improving anything since he's already at full capacity?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, if I was going to talk to somebody like with this offer, obviously, you don't necessarily have to follow like scripted questions by any means, but like if you're data gathering, you're trying to find the problem, probably start off with like, okay, how are you generating leads right now? Oh yeah, I'm running Instagram ads. Okay. How much did you spend last month? Uh, 3,000. Okay, got
He
it.
showed me
How
that. Yeah,
many?
it's about like
How many leads did you get? How many appointments or sales? Like, what is your sales process? Do you sell over the DMs? Do you have a phone call with these people? Do they buy from a website? Like, how do they buy? Oh yeah, appointments. Okay. It's like, how many leads did you get? I got whatever, 50. How many appointments did you get? I don't know, 20. Okay. How many sales did you make? 5 or 10 or 20. Like let's just say it's 10. Okay. And how much revenue did you make from those 10 sales? Or how much do you charge per sale? Like 1,000. Okay. So the business made $10,000 in revenue this past month. Yes. Okay. And I guess you could keep going. So of the 10K, how much of that's profit? Like how much do you pay per month in business expenses outside of ads? Oh, yeah, I mean, whatever. Let's just say it's 8,000 or I don't know, 6,000 profit because some of it goes towards ads and another 1,000 for some type of bill. Okay. Well,
Okay.
I mean, do you have the ability, if you wanted to make more? Are you capped right now? Like, are you at like 100% capacity and you couldn't take on one more client, or could you take on more? He said, well, yeah, I'm capped right now. Well, then there's not much you can do. Okay, well, if he goes, no, I'm not. Okay, is there any reason why you don't just spend more on ads to reach your capacity? Like what, if 6,000 was you made, let's say at 80% capacity, how much would you make at 100? 8,000. Okay. Could you just double down on your ads and get to 8K next month? Well, I don't know. Like it, let's say he goes, oh yeah, it's just really like it takes a lot of time because I'm DMing these people and it's me doing it, and then I have to film more ads and I have to do more content. It just takes a lot of time. Okay. So like then you could probably ask, like there's a little gap there, another 2K a month. It's not big, but it's like, okay. Uh, so right now it's $2,000 per month in profit is part of it. What about the time? Like how many hours did you spend last month scripting content and ads? How many hours did you spend booking sales calls? Let's say they're all through the DMs. Oh, this many hours. Okay. How many hours did you spend taking sales calls? Is that all you? Are you doing all that? Um, you know, let's just say it's uh 5 hours booking calls. That's another, let's say 5 hours a week. So 20. And then taking sales calls. If you took 20, so that's another 20 hours. Okay. So that's like 45 hours. Um, and then how much time do you spend managing your ads? Oh yeah, let's say an hour a week. Okay, so like 4 hours. Hmm. Okay. So a few things. Number one, like just looking at your numbers here, which one of these do you feel is like the major bottleneck, right? Or the major constraint for you getting to 2K per month? Oh, it's definitely my closing ratio. Uh, I feel like I'm there's more people I could be closing. Okay, do you feel like that's a marketing problem or a sales problem? Uh, I don't know. Okay, well, like what are the objections you're getting? Well, they want to think about it. They want to kind of, you know, it's a lot of money for them. They want to shop around, blah, 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 or who knows. Okay. Hmm. So what do you think you're either doing or not doing, which is causing those people to have that objection? Um, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's because I don't really have a brand. I don't really have my face isn't in a video, so maybe they don't really trust me. Maybe I'm targeting the wrong people. Maybe I could be better at closing. Okay. Hmm. Have you tried to fix the at least well, any of them, or what have you done to try to improve your marketing? You know, uh, improve your brand and get better at sales, if anything. Well, nothing. Oh, okay. And how long have you been, you know, at this level of business? Have you been at 6K profit for a while, or has it been going up and down, or like how is the growth of the business been? No, I've been like pretty much plateaued at 6K for, the past year. Okay. Interesting. So if I'm hearing you right, you know, you've lost about, I mean, 24K in the last year, stuck at, you know, 6K per month. It's not a huge number, but like, is there any particular reason why you didn't fix your brand or your market, your messaging, I guess, or like your sales? Mm, no, I guess this is not that big of a deal. Huh. Okay. Well, or you might say, well, yeah, I mean, I guess I just kind of like didn't really realize it was a problem. Okay, like knowing that, you could have had at least an extra 24K in your bank account, maybe more if you attracted the right people, maybe charge more by attracting people with money. Like, has anything changed for you to now want to prioritize this and fix these problems? Well, I guess now that you mention it, like it would help me get into a facility faster. I wanted to do it in a year, but if I was making more money, I could probably do that in 6 months. Okay. And like, how important is it for you to get into a facility? Like, why do you need to do that? Well, dude, I feel like it would blah, 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 blah. It would help me in this way, this way. Okay. And then I guess in order to, you know, fix these things in your marketing, at least, um, do you feel like you could figure that out on your own, or is that something that you're looking for some help with? Uh, yeah, dude, I think I probably need help. Okay, why? Well, it's just like I haven't been able to figure out the problem by myself, and I just don't have the time for it. So ideally, I could work with somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Okay, got it. And so, like, what we're doing is like systematically doing a few things, like figuring out figuring out the cost to at least 24K a year, which is not huge. I mean, if you're charging 6K, ideally, what it's costing them is 10 times more than your price. But there's also the time, like, hey, do you think that what would you do if you could shave off, you know, 5 hours here or 4 hours here, or like if you could save him back his time, do you feel like you could take on more clients maybe or make more money? Like, what would you do if you could free up some of this time? Oh, well, yeah, well, I could go surf more. That's like super important to me. Okay, how much are you surfing now? Yeah, I barely ever surf unless I'm teaching a class. Okay, I guess, you know, is that a problem for you, or like, how do you feel about that? Yeah, dude, it sucks. Yeah, I did this whole business so I could surf all the time, but I'm spending all this time doing admin work and marketing. Okay, so it's costing you money. It's taking away from your passion. We kind of also went into like, what do you feel like is causing, the biggest bottleneck? We identified the biggest bottleneck or constraint. What do you feel like is causing that? Is it your brand? Is it your messaging? Is it like your sales process? Ideally, it's something that you can help with. And then he's going to say this. Okay, let's just say he says brand. Okay, how long have you been at 6K per month in profit? Oh yeah, 1 year. So we stretched it. Okay, I guess technically mm, these are different, right? Because the first one's like, well, if this is based on the capacity, all right, if I'm at 80% capacity, I'm not at 100%. I could make an extra 2K or an extra 24K a year. Down here, it's like, yeah, I've been basically making less money than I should, taking away time from the things I want to do. I'm not able to move into, you know, not able to move into a facility that I want to for XYZ reason. And then it's like, okay, I'm here. Have you gotten help with this? No. Why not? It's going to give you XYZ reason. Okay. Has anything changed where you're no longer willing to, you know, settle for only making 6K? Or you just tie it in whatever the reason was. It's like, yeah, I'm just like overwhelmed. Okay. Like, is this something that you could also just ask, like, is this something where like it's now become a priority for you to fix this and make more money? And also get, surf more and get into the facility faster? Has something shifted where that's now like important for you? Yes. Okay, what happened? In other words, like, why now? This has happened. Okay. And it's like, well, can you do it alone? No. Okay. Why not? I don't have the time. Okay. Or time, or let's say expertise. Okay, got it. And if we're like going down the line here, so kind of starting to establish a burning problem. The next thing is like, Can he do it himself? No. Well, like how committed next piece would be like how strong is his desire and commitment to actually, you know, start making more money, get into the facility, surf more, you know. In other words, how bad do you want it? Like right now, scale 1 to 10, one is like, if I don't do these things in the next 6 months, it doesn't bother me at all. 10 is like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen as quick as I can. Like, where would you say your commitment is as far as, you know, growing the business, surfing more, moving into the facility? In other words, how bad do you want it? Oh, dude, it's a 10. Okay, why is that a 10? Oh, because blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, what else do we have to know? Well, you could probably tie into like, what do you feel like you need in order to XYZ, like solve your, let's say fix your brand. Uh, I need ABC thing. Okay. You could ask about that, why that, or you could just be like, okay, why, if you do you want my help to deliver, ABC thing? Oh, well, I like your content, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, 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 blah. Stupid autocorrect. Got it. Makes sense. Well, knowing that the biggest bottleneck here is your conversions. If we just solve the problem of having a more trustworthy brand, that's going to increase your conversions. You think by another 5 sales or blank per month, and knowing that the this has already cost you you know at least 24K over the last year, if not more, and it's taking away your time, and it's taking away your fulfillment in life, not being able to surf, and you're not able to move into the warehouse, which you said is, or the facility, blah blah blah, like the building, which is important for X, Y, and Z reason. Um, like how much longer are you willing to, you know,
Hmm.
not have the brand that you need? You know, well, oh, okay, well, dude, not another day. So you could do that.
All right, cool.
Obviously, a very specific hypothetical scenario, but do you see how things like start connecting together?
Yeah. Okay.
Starting off with
But
like the data, and then finding some type of bottleneck, and like going in on that, and usually finding some type of physical cost, like it's costing money, it's costing time, energy, reputation, maybe. How long has that been going on for? What issues is that causing in the business? What's that preventing him from doing? What would he, you don't have to go into the hypothetical, like if you were making more money, what would you do with it? But I guess you could. Um, okay, it's been going on this long, it's cost you this much, you know, what do you feel like is causing it? Or what have you done to solve it, if anything? Nothing. Okay. So there's like variations, but we're all kind of like leading to the same point that like you have a big problem. You can't solve it yourself. You're committed to solving it as soon as possible, and you trust me at some level to help you solve the main problem, which in this case would be his lack of a solid brand.
okay. I really want to follow up with these guys,
Yeah.
but I don't know how. Like send them a loom. I already sent them a loom. That's how they booked the call. So I'm like, I don't know, like wait a month.
I mean, I don't know if I'd wait that long. It kind of depends on how the conversation ended.
So for Surf Guy, he was like definitely go do this is an awesome offer and I can see how this could crush it for business owners that aren't doing anything and are totally older and new to all of this. I can see how you're gonna do an amazing thing for this. Definitely go all in, Julian. Yeah, like if you're ever interested in shooting content with us, like just come with us and we could figure it out. And I just like for me, like this is Christian Brock surf camp. He's like, for me though, like I'm already doing a lot of this. I just don't know how this can help me with what I'm already doing. And maybe in a year, when I'm gonna launch my facility, like definitely, dude, like, oh, let you do your thing and, you know, try whatever. But
Yeah.
like when you have more experience and confidence, this are his words, when you have more experience and confidence with this and more people that you worked with. And I'm like, well,
Well,
that's
what's
it.
going to change for him once he has a facility? Like, how does that play
Um,
into it?
well, I kind of got the notion like, oh, okay, like I'm getting a facility, go all in, like I'm gonna need help. Um, like at that point, maybe it would make sense for him. But, at the same time, it's like, well, dude, like at the same, if you want the facility, you got to be the number one known freaking guy here. And he's like, well, I want to be the number one guy known here, but I don't want to have to throw a lot of money to become that. I feel like I'm a sellout and showing my face on social media is like I'm a sellout. And I'm like, I,
Well, do you want to
I
be the
didn't,
number that you want to be the best known, or do you care more about selling out? Because you can't have both.
yeah.
Like that's that's obviously the first conversation. You know, if you think becoming the best
Okay.
known means selling out, well, then you can either stay where you're at and change nothing, and therefore not be the best known, but not sell out, or you can get over that. Really, it's a limiting belief, and like you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
do what it takes to become that guy.
Right.
So that's another one. Like talking about like figuring out there's always like the external cost, which is happening in the business, and external problems, and then the internal cause. In this guy's case, it sounds like he's not doing the things he needs to do because of a mind virus, basically, that if he does that, it means he sells out. All right. So what
Hmm.
I would do is like go through his numbers and see, what are the problems in the business? Is there anything that's like obviously broken or not working at the level that it should? Or it's like, oh, well, dude, like if you just spent $6,000 or like if you just did more ads, if you did more content, if you had VA or something, who knows, like whatever it is, find some angle there. And then it's like, it sounds like the main thing that's been holding you back from fixing some of these problems in the business and really going hard and really becoming the best known is this belief that doing so is going to make you a sellout.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, is there anything going on that means you're no longer willing to stop, keep losing X amount of $1,000 per month, blah blah blah, whatever problems are going on. Is there anything that's going on which means that you're no longer willing to keep telling yourself that fixing this is a sellout, fixing this means you're a sellout, and in other words, like, has anything changed in the last 7, 30, 60, 90 days where you're like, okay, I actually need to keep growing this business and I'm not growing it fast enough or anything like that. Then if not, then it's just like, okay, well, yeah, it sounds like the reason why the business isn't growing, let's say it's been plateaued at the same amount for the past year or 6 months or whatever, it's because number one, there's nothing really urgent or pressing. Uh, and you also have the limiting factor of you not wanting to be a sellout, therefore not marketing at the level that you should. So, for that reason, it wouldn't make sense for us to really work together anyway, because, you know, where's the drive going to come from to actually, do what you need to do to grow the business, unless there's something I missed.
Okay.
What's up, Alex? You got anything? Did this guy reach out to you or did you reach out to him?
So he was a previous client that I did work with, and he liked my ad, and I was like, hey, like appreciate the like, follow the framework, and I was like, sent him a loom, like, hey, previous client, obvious trust there. They like me, I love them. Cool, dude. It's a surf camp. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So um, so we sat down today with their family, which was pretty fun. He brought his whole kids. I got them breakfast, which was awesome. And yeah.
Okay. So he was kind of like an inbound lead in a way.
Mhm. Yeah, I want to like because I'm thinking like, okay, well, I can be like, like let's look at your numbers together and really figure this out, Christian. Like just send him a text. He'll be like, well, I don't know what he would say.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really know until you ask. But like I said, like how are you supposed to diagnose or even present a solution if you don't actually know what the problem is? And part of the problem for this guy might be the fact that he doesn't know his numbers. He doesn't really track everything. He doesn't really, you know, he's not really taking it that serious. What's this guy's Instagram page?
Um, Ventura Makos,
What is it? Ventura Makos?
Ventura Ventura, and then Makos, Ventura Makos Surf Camp.
Okay, I found it. All right, let's look at this. Is it this guy?
Yeah.
This one has 14,000 views. I assume this is his ad.
Yeah. And I was like, I showed him an example of a winning ad of the coaching guy, and I was like, look, like these do not look the same. Like your video looks really, really cool. So I like it has a logo, I'm being nice. And I'm like, but these do not look the same.
Yeah, there's no copy on it. Summer surf camps, year-round youth surf programs.
And
Is
he's
it
telling
summer
me
or
that it
is it
converts pretty
year?
well. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And it's true, like his surf thing is pretty popular.
Ha- what's his call to action? Give him a call or something, or go to his website?
Yeah.
Hmm, that's interesting. How does he track that? I guess unless he's just asking them.
Yeah, he also mentioned he does like email blasts and stuff, Google SEO, whatever. He figures it out himself. And I'm like, cool, man. This if you want to be number one on Google, like you got to be number one on Instagram.
Hmm. I wonder how many other surfing companies are in the area that do the
Well,
same
there's not
thing.
that many. There's about like five. So of course he's going to be in the front page because there's only like maybe eight total. But as far as
Uh,
like the amount of reviews, he's like second highest for reviews. And I'm like, yeah.
is it? I just Googled Ventura surfing lessons. So one of these ones?
It's the same thing, Ventura Makos. So he's like probably like second page
Oh,
right
here it
there.
is. It's not even on the freaking Google Maps. Yeah. I mean, all these guys have 1,100 reviews, 5 star. He has
Mhm.
111 5 star. These guys have 140. Looks like everybody has 5 stars, which is interesting. 20 years in business, 15 years, 7, 10, surf hat. There's actually quite a few. Holy shit. I mean, I think the did you say he's mostly doing Google ads or Facebook or Instagram?
He's mostly doing um Instagram and Google ads.
Hmm. Okay.
And then you saw his Instagram ad, quote unquote ad.
He's the only one that doesn't have the directions. Like, where is the school at?
Yeah.
Where's this place? Oh, okay, close to. Huh. I mean, the other thing is like, well, dude, like, how hard would it be for somebody to just copy his ad and run the same ad? One of these guys. It's
Yeah.
not exactly original. It's not exactly that creative. It's just images of kids surfing. He's not even in it. He's not really, there's no specific call to action. How are you tracking that? You're hoping that someone's going to see an ad and then call you or go to your website. Like, I mean, that's not really how people buy, in 2026. I don't know. I'm willing to bet, like, also, it's not even a follower ad from the looks of it. So, like, I'm willing to bet his cost per getting leads is like higher than it should be if it was just a
Hmm.
follower ad. It had a call to action follower ad. He was talking in it, you know, maybe positioning himself against these other 15 uh, surfing companies. Oh, yeah, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, there's like 19 other companies that are doing the same thing where there's like the same messaging. Like I'll probably ask them like how many people do you talk to who end up going to somebody else in your opinion? Because I bet it's pretty high if there's 19 other people doing the same thing, especially if there's another company that has 1,000 more Google reviews than him. So yeah, I mean, probably the biggest thing is if he actually gets his numbers, then you could probably find some bottlenecks really quickly. I bet his cost per lead is very high. There's, you know, I bet he's getting people shopping around a lot because like he doesn't really have a brand. His ads, it's kind of mid. You know, Not sure what he's spending, but yeah, there's probably still like a sale to be made there if you were able to reconnect with him and get his what do you call it? His numbers.
Okay. Could you tell me how to how to reconnect with him? A good way to do that?
Mm, I'd probably say something like, hey, man, I was thinking about our conversation and, you know, I was looking at your ad and I was looking at Google and, you know, I'm almost willing to bet that right now, like based on the ad you're running and a few other factors, that you're probably spending either way too much for your per lead than you could, or, you're probably getting more objections than you probably should based off of like just the quality of your page. And would love to reconnect and go over your numbers. If you had some time to sit down and do that, if you're open to it. But then it kind of goes back to like, if he's completely booked, then does it even make a difference at the end of the day?
Okay. I
And then
got
just
it.
be like, yeah, even if you don't want to work with me, I can, you know, once we see like the data, then I can, point out what's broken and kind of give you some suggestions on what to fix, whether or not you want to work with me or not. Kind of make it like a less of like, hey, I'm going to pitch you, and more of like, yeah, I just want to give you some more value.
Okay.
But then, like,
Yep.
ideally, you're pointing out a few things where he's like, "Oh shit! Like, I didn't even know any of this. Like, fuck, I don't. It's a lot for me to try to fix. Like, how do we work together?" Alex, you just creeping on us, or do you have any sales questions?
Yeah,
There
I
he is.
got a quick question. Um, it's just a general sales related question, and it's basically like how I feel like I get a lot of like it's almost like they think it's obvious that they should take some time to think about it, and then when you let them go and think about it, they just have more time to come up with excuses and stuff like that. So I've got like two meetings tomorrow, and I want to I want to find a way to give more of a sense of urgency, but I feel like there is like not a lot of logical like sense of urgency, like because I'm the same way, like with me it took me a while to even end up signing, and so it's like what type of sense of urgency can I create
Yeah,
just
yeah.
given the circumstances?
Good question. So there's like a few different, I guess, angles you could take. You know, um, let's call it three layers to this. This is layer one, this is layer two, and then layer three. So first layer is going to be logical. In other words, like what is the lack of them doing marketing or this type of marketing? What's it costing them? Right? If you can figure that out, even if it's a rough guess from them, how many more sales do you feel like you could be doing if you had, a hyper target specific ad showing to every single person in town, and you had a brand that was positioning you as a go-to XYZ business here in town? Considering you're doing 15K per month right now off of referrals, how many more clients do you feel like you could get if you had like a system like that going, where you were constantly getting in front of people that were, you know, the right fit for your business? Oh yeah, I could probably double my business. Okay. So you could go from 15K to 30K. Yeah. Okay. You believe that? You're not just trying to like impress me, are you? No, no, I really believe that. Okay. So essentially that's 180K a year extra, or in other words, every year that you don't fix this is costing you 180K. Or you could go, okay, and so like how long have you been, I guess, wanting to double the business? Or how long have you been dealing with this issue of like not having enough leads and therefore being stuck at 15K? Oh yeah, like 6 months. Okay. So in other words, this cost you 15K times six. What's that? 90,000? Yeah. Okay. And like uh when you hear that number, like what's going through your head? Man, that's a lot of money. Okay. Are there any issues that are coming up in the business because you've been basically missing out on an extra 90K over the last 6 months? Well, yeah, blah blah blah. Like tell me more, da da da. And then so like logical, emotional is going to be like the second layer here. And that's just going into like, what's going on as a result of that, of the logical cost, which is like creating their urgency to solve it. Is it something in their personal life? Is it something that they really want to do in the business that they can't? Is there something, is it taking time away from, you know, other parts of their life that are important? Like how quickly or like why, if they do, are they no longer willing to settle for, where they're at in business? Like what's going on? In other words, like urgency, which could come from like personal reasons, things they want to do in the business, but can't. In other words, um, you know, why now do they need to fix this problem and therefore get more leads, more sales, and double their business? Okay. And so, the last thing is the last layer, I guess, would be like the identity, right? So, you know, there's a few ways that you can kind of go into this, but big one is like, listen, dude, over the past 6 months, like what have you done? What steps have you taken specifically to solve this problem? And if it's like nothing, you're like, huh, okay. Well, do you feel like when you think of the most successful business people, do you feel like if they have a big problem in their business, which is costing them money, it's costing them X, Y, and Z, do you feel like they would just sit on it and just let it get worse and worse, or would they solve it right away? They probably solve it right away. Okay. And so, you know, if that's what a successful business owner would do, well, how have you been showing up? How would you describe the way that you've been showing up in the business? Yeah, probably just putting things off, procrastinating. Okay. Is it fair to say that that's the reason why you've missed out on $90,000 and you're dealing with all these other issues just because you've been procrastinating versus taking action? Yeah. Okay. Well, you can kind of go two ways. Like number one would be like, okay, well, like why, if you do, are you no longer willing to procrastinate on solving these problems? Or like, well, then why now are you, you know, I guess going the other way? It's just like, well, like why now then are you taking a new action? Given the fact that you haven't done anything for the past 6 months, why now are you, you know, looking to start taking action on this? Oh, well, because blah, 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 blah. Or you can kind of like tie it down. Gotcha. So it sounds like the main reason that you're losing this much money and this and this and this is happening is just because you've been procrastinating. Are you done with that? Yes. Well, why? Well, because da 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 da. Okay. Was there any specific turning point where you realize that, your procrastination has been really costing the business and also your personal life in these ways? And that you're no longer willing to keep procrastinating on your marketing. What happened? Yeah, yeah, this is happening. Kind of like tie them down to the new identity or like the new, decision making process or the new mental model or whatever it is, the new mindset, which is leading them in the direction of taking action now. And then if they want to think about it, you could just be like, well, listen, dude, like you're free to think about it. If this is just so you know, like if we're going to use these numbers, $15,000 divided by, let's say 30, every day that you think about it, it's another $500. You might as well be taking out of your wallet and like lighting on fire, throwing it away. Right. And so
Gotcha.
I don't see how you thinking about it is any different of an action than the last 6 months that you've been thinking about it and really not doing anything about it. So are you going to continue thinking about it? Really, another word for that is procrastinating. Or, dude, are you finally going to just take action on this and and fix it like a successful business owner would? Yeah, you're
Okay.
right, dude.
I got you.
Yeah, you're right. Usually how that'll go. If you can tie it to like their identity is like the reason why they've been causing the problem, and why they're making them aware of that and then getting them to like tie down that like they're no longer willing to do that. It's very hard for them to like want to think about it because they still might because it's human nature, but it's very easy to just bring that back up. Well, dude, like you can think about this for another 6 months if you want to burn another $90,000. And if you want to continue procrastinating and continue, you know, whatever, being stressed out because you should be doing better, but you see other people do, you're seeing your competitors grow month after month, but you've been stuck at the same amount for the past 6 months. You can continue thinking about that situation, or I mean, we could just actually take action towards solving the problem. Which one are you committed to doing like 100%? It's very hard for them to be like, no, I'm committed to procrastinating. Like that's retarded.
Right, right. Okay, so I think that that's like a super solid way to get them to definitely have a quicker sense of urgency. But I still feel like there's the people that will be like, well, like maybe they just convince themselves that they just need like one night to think it over. Because one night, 6 months of no change is huge, but one night, like that's not really a big deal. Like let me just take the night
Yeah.
to think it over,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you're
So that's
stuck
why,
with like,
well, yeah, exactly, dude. So like when you're tying someone down in your mind, you should be thinking like, okay, do I have enough ammo or like leverage to overcome 6 months of this person not doing anything? Because you're right. Like, what's another night? What's another month? What's another 6 months for somebody who hasn't taken any new action over 6 months? Like, you kind of have to dig deeper and get into the specifics and, show them how it's a bigger problem than they thought it was, usually through the numbers. Um, and then get them tied down that like they are done with that. That 100%. They're not willing to go one more day, you know, staying where they're at, continuing to do the same thing that they've been doing. And if you do that, it's very hard for them to be like, well, you know, I think I'll just go think about it just one more night. It's like, well, dude, you just spent the last 20 minutes telling me why you're no longer willing to operate like that. So like,
okay,
you know,
okay,
what am I missing? What's going on?
okay.
Well, it's just like
I
a big
think I got.
investment. Yeah, I mean, compared to losing 15 grand a month, 6K versus 15K a month going out guaranteed versus, you know,
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. I got, especially because I've got. Yeah, I like that. Like putting it into a frame of like how much money they're losing not signing up versus like instead of putting it like the way that I would kind of frame it before is like, well, this is money that's like up for grabs.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I
No.
versus like no, they're like this is how much you're losing every day you don't take action is definitely more compelling.
Yeah. Yeah, because people are, you know, there's a few reasons for that. Like, what is it? There's like people are more loss averse than whatever the opposite is. Like, I guess like looking to gain. Like they'd way rather not lose something versus potentially gain something. Number two, like, oh, here's all how much money's up for grabs. It's very hypothetical. And, like when you're asking them for $6,000 off of like, well, you could be making way more money. It's just not as powerful as like the facts of like ideally you're getting them to tell you how much money that they could be making if they had more marketing in place, even if it's a ballpark, even if it's a guess, it's like, okay, so, like let's say that your business is operating on word of mouth referrals. Like your best guess, if you were, let's say you had an ad that was getting shown to 100,000 people a month, you know, wild guess, like how many more sales do you think that you could make? Or do you think that you would make any more sales? Yes. If you had to guess, like how many more? We could be conservative too, like 3, 5, 10, 20. Yeah, probably like five. Okay. And you charge how much? 5K? Yeah. So that's like a 25K per month gap. So you're making, you close 3 sales a month right now, 15K. You're saying that conservatively, you could be making an extra 25K. So you could be doing whatever, 40,000 or is that right? Yeah. You could be making 40K per month. Essentially, and another way of putting it is like you're losing 25K a month or $300,000 a year.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes
So
sense. I think. It, sorry. not to cut you off, I'm about to have to hop off in just a second. Um, I think that like that's very solid, and this I don't maybe I don't know if you offer personal calls within the group, but I've been meaning to see if I could book a personal call with you. I don't know if that's something that you do or not. Either way, I'll just probably message you the question, but I think like there's a root problem with like that kind of structure right there, and that's with pretty much all of my leads so far that I get into a meeting. It's like they're not. I think that they're more like skeptical of like if this really will work for them, and maybe that's because of like the way that I'm putting it off. Like, so if I were to ask them, like, well, do you think that? Well, I guess I haven't asked it exactly like that, but if I were to ask something like, well, do you think, how much extra money do you think you would be able to make if if your service was shown to, thousands of people in the area that are potentially interested, then they might, well, if I ask that directly, like they would probably be like more likely to say, oh yeah, well, I think that that would work. But it's just like I basically like the vibe and the energy that I've been getting from my leads is like, well, I'm not really sure if this will work for me. And that's like that seems to be like the core objection.
Right. Okay, so when you say that you're not really sure if it'll work, which part specifically? You feel like the ads don't work? You feel like your clients aren't on Instagram, they don't buy from Instagram? Do you feel like, you know, I don't know, marketing in general is a scam? Like, do you feel like people don't respond to ads? Do you feel like maybe it works for other people, but not for you because your business is different? Like, which part do you feel like wouldn't work?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It's like going to like a
Right. Right.
like a fitness
Gotcha.
coach.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think this will work for me. I don't think I'll be able to lose weight. Which part do you feel like the workout plan wouldn't work for you? You're not able to do it. Do you feel like maybe the meal plans? It's something that you know it's you can't follow them, or you like that won't work, or you think I don't know, like maybe that you're different and like because of your genetics or something that you just can't lose weight. Like why do you feel like it wouldn't work? In general, it's like I always start with like the global belief and then the fact that it works for other people. And then like, what is it about them specifically? Like, because a lot of people, when they say something like, I don't think ads work, what they're really saying is like, well, I think ads work. I just don't think they work for me. And like, well, what's that based off of? Is that based off of experience, off of strategy? Is it based off of you, trying it for a day or two and not getting any results? Have you worked with agencies before and you got burned? Did your nephew tell you that ads are like they're they don't work? Like where are you basing that opinion off of? That belief? Where's that coming from? You know,
Okay.
because if you really felt like ads wouldn't work, like what made you even want to jump on this call? Considering that was if that's your belief, like where was that belief at when you booked in this call with me?
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Gotcha.
if you really felt it wouldn't work, why would you jump on a call with a guy who helps you with content and ads on Instagram? It wasn't a big secret. Or is it the fact that what you're really saying is like you do think it'll work, but you just don't think you either don't have the money or maybe you don't think it's worth 6K or whatever, or like what's actually coming up for you?
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And just like so Like, let's say, okay, so like, what is it about it? Like, let's say I ask them, like, well, what is it about ads that you're not sure if it's gonna work for you? And they just come up with an answer like, oh, well, I don't know if, like just any objection in general. I guess like, do you just keep responding with more questions to
Hmm.
kind of like get to the point? Okay,
So
gotcha.
like the principle is this, like the more you question somebody about their belief, the more likely it is, I'm getting zoomed in on, uh, the more likely it is to unravel, right? So if I were to ask you like, hey Alex, um, is your first name actually Alex? Like, just role play it with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's actually Alex. Yeah,
Okay. How do you know?
because that's just the name I was born with. That's what's on my birth certificate. That's what I go by.
Okay. What if your birth certificate was, switched at birth? What if it's, it was entered in incorrectly?
I think incorrectly. I mean, that's not really likely because my mom, she's been calling me Alex, so she's the one that gave me my name, and that's also what's
Yeah.
on my birth certificate.
Okay. So your mom calls you Alex, but mm, let me ask, has your mom ever lied in the past in any way? Like maybe about Santa Claus or something like that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, at some point in time.
She has. Okay. So is it possible that she lied about naming you Alex and your name's actually not Alex, it's something else?
I would say it's possible. Yeah,
Okay, boom.
it's possible.
You see how I've already put a seed of doubt on something that you know to be true, which is your name, just by asking like two or three questions.
Okay, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous? Like, if I really wanted to, like, I can make people forget their name if I really want to. It's just like a hypnosis way to do it, but I won't do that. But the same thing goes with objections. Like, the again, like the thing is, like the way it works is um, if they had the same beliefs as you, well, then they would be taking action. They'd be like, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. But somewhere in the chain, there's a misalignment in their beliefs, right? And you just have to figure out what that misalignment is and ask questions about it and get to the bottom of like where is it that they're actually confused or that they have the wrong information or like they just like where what is it that's the weak link in the chain here, which is causing them to not want to do this. And usually once you identify that, and then you can either give them counter examples or you can be like, okay, well, like, where does that come from? Like, have you actually experienced that? Okay, like, how do you know that's true? Okay, like, are you 100% sure that your belief about ads is accurate? Is there a possibility that you're wrong? Okay, so is it fair to say that actually, let me ask again. Like, have you actually researched this? Like, how many books or how many courses or how many coaches did you hire specifically on ads? Okay, so it sounds like you don't 100% know if ads don't work is true. It sounds like it's more of an opinion. Okay. So is it possible that you just don't know what you don't know and that you maybe been operating off of an incorrect assumption or an opinion? Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you're welcome to keep that opinion and therefore not make any changes in the business, or like you can at some point you kind of have to take like a leap of faith and just take it at face value that yes, ads work. people do buy from ads. You in a way are proof that they work because like you're here considering working with me. You came from an ad. You know, you can choose that belief, or you can continue to choose to believe that ads don't work and therefore not make any changes in your business and therefore keep losing money. It's completely up to you. Which one are you going to go with? Which belief? Well, yeah, I could see. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I think you know what? You're right. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. How do you feel now? I feel pretty good. Okay. Cool. You ready to rock and roll? Yeah. Awesome. How would you like to, how would you like to pay?
Okay. All right, that's solid. Yeah, that's pretty solid. So I think that I definitely want to. I think I'm not really like strong enough with that, or at least in the past, but I'm gonna try that tomorrow, like at both of these meetings. Basically, just like keep on questioning them and get to the bottom of their objections, and ultimately until it's just like a straight up like I basically like keep going, I guess, until they say like absolutely not, this would definitely not work for me. Then it's probably like you're probably not going to be able to question them into it. But when it like this seems like it would work pretty solid for somebody that's on the fence about it. So I'm gonna try that tomorrow, most definitely. And then
I mean, dude, I've had people that say absolutely not. I don't think this will work at all. Come back around and be like, you know what? Let's do this. Right. So, um, yeah, like they're on the call. The biggest piece of information that you have is like they're on the call. So some part of them must believe it. Some part of them is resisting it. All right. So like, let's just figure out, you know, what like where's this resistance coming from? What's behind that, and see if we can help them through it. And if you can't, you can't.
okay,
But you know, at least if you do that, you can be like, all right, I basically did everything for this person. Like you can't convince them all. Some people are set in their ways, and it is what it is. But a lot of people that are on the fence, you will close.
definitely. I think I got a close coming real soon, and that was super helpful. I think that's like
Oh yeah.
the exact strategy I need to get through to somebody. I got, and then like with the interior designer, I got her coming up again on Friday. This time I'm going to be talking to her and her husband. So
Mhm.
I think, well, her husband's probably going to be like, he might be a pain in the ass. You know, he's supposed to be like real technical. So, but I still,
Yeah,
I
is
mean,
he
I feel pretty
technical?
confident.
Is he technical when it comes to ads and stuff? Like,
Right, right. See, that's where my strong suit is. But I'm gonna have to go. I got my girl waiting in the car and stuff. But I appreciate it,
all
and
right,
y'all have a good one.
yeah. See, you, man. The
All
other
right,
thing,
man.
it's like no matter how technical they are, like they're on the call, so therefore they don't know how to solve the problem. You know what I mean? Like they might
Yeah, yeah,
make way more
yeah.
money than you. They might be way more older, more experienced in business. But the fact is, they don't know how to turn their Instagram into a money printing machine. But you do. Hence, like they're
That's
whatever
facts.
degree of technical knowledge they have, it's like, who cares? Like, it's not relevant.
Right. That's super valid. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Zero. Well, not many people on today. So, unless you have anything else that you want to jam on, um, I do have, I've been working on this training for just intro calls. If you want, we can run through that really quick, see if there's
Okay. I'm
um,
in.
not super organized right now, but there's a few things in here I'll just talk through. And if you have any questions, uh, you can add to this. So, Stupid toolbar. Get out of the way. Get get out of here. Um. Okay. So there's a few things that I see people. I kind of started this off with like the do's and don'ts. Um, Really, the overall frame here is important. Like, number one, you're not selling a program. You're really seeing if they're worth your time to go to a longer call to, you know, to make them an offer, which means that that should take a lot of the pressure off of, you know, off yourself of like performing or doing something on this call. Um, I see a lot of intro calls going very long. Like in my mind, my main focus is like, okay, what is the problem? How bad is it? How big of a priority is it to solve this now? Right? Like
Mm.
outside of that, I want to understand like, you know, the BANT framework for qualifying.
Mm-mm.
Basically, it comes from like the SaaS world. It's budget, authority, needs, timing. This would be needs and timing, budget and authority. It's like authority is like, okay, cool. I think I can help based off this and this. Sounds like, you know, we're in alignment here. Is there anyone else who needs to be on the call in order to help you make a decision when it comes to investing into your business? Okay, like great. When can we all be on a call? Budget is something that you might ask. It's budget's more of like a red flag thing. If they seem very new or they're not making much money, you probably want to ask them like how much do you have to invest into your marketing in order to, you know, let's say hit your goal. Um, so keeping it short, like some people ask, like, should I go into the pain? Should I keep it surface level? Like, I'm not really going to go into a lot of emotions on an intro call. It's really just gathering the data and around these things.
Okay.
Um, I see a lot of people ask unspecific questions. So, like, how's business going right now? You know, like, well, what are they going to say? Yeah, it's good or it's bad or, you know, whatever. Like, okay, so more specific might be like something like, okay, so in the last 30 days, how much revenue did your business generate? Okay, how's that compared to the month before that and the month before that? Okay, got it. I see a lot of people not getting the financial numbers on their intro calls as well. Like, again, if I'm going to spend time with somebody for 45 minutes, I want to make sure they're at least closable, right? So a big part of that, really, like the main reason why they're on a call is most likely they're not making enough money, or they want to be making way more, which are kind of the same thing. Um, so yeah, definitely find that out through the numbers, which I'll go into down here. Um, Focusing on the problem and the pain they're looking to solve. A lot of people go into like background or logistical questions, which are like, okay, how long have you been in business? God damn it, stop zooming in on me. How long have you been in business? What do you offer? Okay, like just like stuff that's not really, it's not around the problem, not really around the pain. You know, you're kind of wasting time by talking about that. Like, I don't really care. Like, I'd rather just get right into like quantifying. Well, first of all, what is the biggest reason that you're on a call looking into marketing on Instagram right now? You could ask something like that, um, which would be framing the call. Sometimes I see guys aren't framing at all. Um,
Mm.
Sometimes people are just assuming that they want a second meeting. It's like, okay, cool. So from here, next step is we'll book in a 45-minute meeting. What time this week works for you? It's like, well, first of all, you'd want to ask, like, okay, after I summarize their problem, sounds like you're not getting enough leads, you're spending too much money on Google Ads, and like you're getting a lot of tire kickers. I mean, if you found a way to solve this, like, how quickly would you, you know, be wanting to implement that solution? Oh, dude, immediately. Okay, got it. Well, listen, man, I do feel like there's alignment here, but really the next step from here would be to go book out a longer meeting for us to go deeper and make sure that I can 100% help. And then from there, I build out a custom game plan on exactly what it looks like to work together. Is that something you're open to? Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. What time this week works for you? So that's it sounds minor, but like you kind of want to stair step it when you're pitching the next meeting. And then like confirming that that time 100% works. Okay, what time? Like I have a few openings, let's say tomorrow. I got at 12 o'clock, I got 3, 5. Do any of those times work? Oh yeah, 3. Okay, does that time 100% work? You're not going to be like on a job site or at a dentist appointment or something like that. And then they'll usually check their schedule and be like, oh, actually, no, that time doesn't work, but I could do 5. Okay, does that time 100% work, barring like a natural disaster? Yes. Okay, great. Are you going to be at home in front of an office where we can jump on Zoom? Or if you're going to do it in person, then okay, like, why don't we meet in person? How about, this location? Does that work for you? Okay, well, can you be there by 5 o'clock? Yes. And then sending something after the call, like a homework video, a VSL, case study, Loom, whatever. Um, One of the reasons why people get a lot of no-shows is because the person generally doesn't see value in the second call. Like, this guy, like, he didn't really like, he asked me a few surface level questions. We didn't really find like a major pain point. Is this next call just going to be like a big sales pitch? I don't know if I want to do that, but I always frame the second call as like, well, here's your problem. On the next call, we're going to build a game plan on how we can help you do that. Whether or not you want to work with me after that, it's up to you. Like, you can take it and try to figure it out by yourself, or I can help you, but completely up to you. But um, is that something that you're open to having like that longer, deeper conversation? Yes. Okay, cool. Um, Another thing is like, let's say they book today's Tuesday and they book for Friday. So like ideally you're pitching the next call within the next 24 hours, if not 48. I like the sooner the better, or even same day. If I talk to them in the morning, I might try to close them in the afternoon. But if it's like 4 or 5 days out, or let's just say 3 days or more, in general, I will want to be sending them stuff every day or every other day to keep them warm. And if you have case studies, that works. If you have videos that explain certain objections, maybe you could send that. If you have a VSL, if you have looms, whatever. I have here on the don'ts, like, it says have an agenda for their call. Like, you want to have like a frame, which is like, cool, really just want to understand where you're at with your business, what you're trying to achieve, and then from there, if I can help, we can talk about that. If not, I'll try to point you in another direction. Like, that's a frame. It's not the same as an agenda, which is like, you know, uh, getting on there and trying to like lead the conversation in a certain way. Like, in general, I want to like listen to them, figure out what's the problem. Is it even a problem I can help with? Like, where is it at in their priorities in terms of solving it? Is it the top one? Is it like third? Like, how bad is it? Those are like kind of like general, but sometimes people kind of like lead the call in weird ways and they miss stuff. Other one, like, you're not pitching your offer on the intro call. You shouldn't really be over explaining it. At most, I'd be like, cool, well, this does sound like something I can help with. Really, what I do is like, in general, it's helping local service businesses scale up on Instagram. And like, the strategy is essentially what got us on the call, but it looks different for everybody. So that's why, we can book in a longer call and I can walk you through exactly how everything works. Also want to avoid like over talking. You also want to avoid assuming you know their problem before they tell you what it is. Um, One person asked, oh, this is more of a question. Um, One guy asked, like, how do I get them more interested in my offer? I'll go through that. Another thing I don't do is like typing notes. Like, I would always have a pen and paper. Like, there's something about typing notes where it's distracting. You tend to miss a lot of stuff, forget stuff. Anyway, this is another one asking logistical background questions. Like, not going too deep in their pain, especially emotional pain. Like, you only do that when you're trying to close them, right? Unless you're going to do a one call close, then ignore this. But assuming you're doing the 2 call, you want to keep things relatively logical. Another one, I see a lot of guys when they're taking intro calls, they're like scrolling while they're talking to the person. Like, they're looking at their Instagram, they're like clicking stuff. Like, you want to be locked in, like super focused on just the conversation at hand and not like, like looking at other stuff. So don't drop the price unless it contextually makes sense, in which contextually is like if they sound broke from the context, you're like, oh, this person isn't really making money. Sounds like he's, sounds kind of poor. I'm just going to throw out the price out there and see if what he says. If he's like, well, dude, could you figure this out if everything made sense on the next call? If he goes yes, I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. If he says, dude, there's no way in hell, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's a saving 45 minutes. Um, so I already kind of spoke over this. Why do people no show your second call? You don't see value. Someone asked about how do you prepare for a discovery call or intro call? Like, I don't really, well, what's there to prepare about? Like, you can maybe look at Google or something like that, but is there that much you're going to like, is there that much you're going to research? Not really. Um, so here's like an overall flow. So intro, usually something like this. Hey, Julian. Yeah, who's this? Hey, man, this is Ben here from Instagram. How's it going? Oh, yeah, pretty good. Cool. Yeah, I had a few minutes here to reach out and see if I could help. I catch you at a bad time. No, this is perfect. Awesome. And you would kind of go to the frame. This thing's important too, like the energy. I should probably like put this first. Like first thing is making sure that your energy is good. You're positive, you're upbeat. I would probably say grounded, calm, you're chill. It's like, hey, Julian, what's up, man? You're like friendly. That's another one.
Chill vibes.
Chill vibes. Yeah, you're like chillionaire. Julian, what's up, man? This is Ben from Instagram. How's it going? Oh, hey, what's going on, man? I was waiting for a call. Awesome. Cool. This is a good time? Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man. How's your day been going so far? Ah, man, it's busy, but you know how it is. Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, listen, I've got about 15 minutes here before my next meeting. You ready to just jump right in? Yeah, cool. So the goal of this call is very simple. Just want to understand where you're at in the business, what you might be looking for help with, and from there I can see if I can help or worst case point you in a better direction. That sound good? Sounds great. Cool. Um, oops, these are backwards. And then I've heard a few people say like, so what's the biggest reason that you want to talk to me? In which case,
Hmm.
they're generally always going to like you want to have the focus on them rather than you. Because if you ask that, they're probably going to ask you like, oh, I was interested in your program. What do you do? What do you charge? How much is it? Like I would switch it to something like this. So let me see if I'm missing anything here.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes.
in their energy as well. Just a quick thing. Like I'm always tuning into them as well. Are they distracted? Are they serious? Are they open? Are they guarded? Are they trying to take control of the call and like alpha you? Are they freaking nervous? Like are they driving? Like I'm always like taking a read on this person and like tuning into them.
Mhm.
But what were you about to say?
Sometimes I'll be like, hey, so what was your like, I guess, biggest reason for hopping this call with me, bro? And they'll be like, oh well, you reached out, um, and I saw your
Yeah,
stuff, I really liked it.
right. Yeah, what's your biggest reason for hopping on this call with me? It's like that's kind of putting the focus on you, where it's like, okay, so hey, I'm curious, like, what's the biggest reason that's got you looking into marketing right now, or looking into growing a brand on Instagram right now, or like you could also go more general. So cool, man. I know I've got a few of the details about your company from our conversation on Instagram, and I took a look at your page and stuff. But I'm curious, man, like how can I potentially help and see what they say? Oh, well, yeah, man. I've been trying to get more leads, and we tried a few marketing things that didn't really work out. So I was kind of like wondering like what you had going on. Um, generally, uh, the thing to listen for is the problem or the pain or the costs or the consequences or the implications or I'll say you know the issues. All right. So if someone's like, yeah, I'm like, I'm been doing Google ads and doing like growing by referrals, but it's kind of like up and down and inconsistent. So I was kind of like looking to see if there's anything better out there. Okay, so like what would be the problem if I said that to you? You don't know?
I guess the problem would be like, the problem would be, oh yeah, we're trying out Google. We just signed up with an SEO company, and it's been working pretty good. But yeah, like some months are like kind of kind of up and down. And I guess I just wanted to see what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So if you said that to me, or if I said that to you, like, what would you focus on as the problem? Like, how would you summarize that where you're like, okay, we're talking about the right thing,
So I would be
knowing
like,
that. Yeah.
oh, okay, like is Google what you're is all you're doing right now? Like what I don't like what kind of made you feel like it wasn't like it went not what made you feel like it went down, but just like oh like when I would be like
Yeah. I'm gonna write this out. Example. Just yeah. We're doing SEO and some Google ads, and right now it's going pretty well, but it's also up and down. And we're looking into other alternatives for marketing. So say you said that. All right. So uh, finding the problem, summarizing the problem, which would be the next one, is basically like the pain point is going up. It's up and down. Right. So pain
mhm,
point, it's up and down. Um, an objection would be it's going pretty well. You'd have to talk about is it going well or is it not going well? You might have to get into that right away. Um, like things that you would want to clarify and get specifics are like, what does up and down mean? When you say it's up and down, like how much revenue did you do in the last 30 days? Or when you say it's up and down, like what's going on in the business? Or, like give me an idea, like in the last 30 days, like how much did you spend on Google Ads?
what's
Okay.
going on is like how much
You,
did you spend last 3 days like
yeah. So like, okay. So you said you're generating leads through SEO, referrals, and Google Ads. Oops. There should be another one here. How much are they spending on ads slash how much time are they spending if it's another, method? Let's say door to door, they're handing out flyers. How many hours a week are you handing out flyers? How many flyers would you say you hand out per day? Okay. And then how many leads did you get from that this month? This many. Okay. How many of those turn into like appointments or sales calls? This many. Okay. And how many closed? Okay, got it. Well, what price point do you charge them? Okay, this much. Okay, do you have any other offers? Like anything upsell, downsell, back end? Yeah, we have this much. Okay, so what was the total revenue then for the past 30 days? Okay, this much. And how much, what are your profit margins on that? This much. Okay, and then how does that compare to, let's say, last month and the month before? Pretty much the same. Okay, so um, some other ones here should be in here. Um, Part of how bad is it is like stretching the pain. Like, how long have you been? It sounds like you're plateaued. Is that right? Yeah. How long have you been plateaued at X revenue? How long have you been stuck at X revenue? If they are stuck, right? Like in general, if you
mhm,
get all these numbers, you could also just ask, okay, so like, okay, so what issues are coming up because you're only making, let's say, 10K a month or 15K or 30, or because your profit's so low or because you're not getting that many leads? Like what's going on in the business that's causing you to be on a call? Oh, well, I'm working a lot and I can't hire somebody to help me, so I have to do all the work myself. Okay, how many hours did you work last week? I did like 50. Okay, is that consistent every single week? Yeah. Okay. I guess is that taking away from anything else in your life? Yeah. It's taking away, you know, it's taking away, you know, whatever. Time with my family. It's taking away this and that. Okay, got it. And how long has that been going on for? This long? Okay, gotcha. So it's not in here, but in terms of tie downs, there's a few of them. The biggest one is that there must be a need for them to change basically a need for them to change in their business. Like I need to be making more, I need to be working less hours. Something has to be going on where it's like, we can point to it as like, okay, that makes sense why they're on a call, like, what they're looking for. In other words, they have a painful problem, you know how bad it is, and they have a reason to change now. So, um, so you could say, how quickly are you looking to fix that? Or you could say, if you found a way to XYZ, how soon would you want to implement that? Or like, what's got you looking to solve this now? Um, I guess all these things have been, oop, what just happened there? Control X. Usually this would be the last. A lot of times people ask like, how long have you been in business? And the, it's not really a good question in many ways, because it's like, how long is a question that you would ask usually at towards the end of your data gathering, where you're stretching out the pain. If you just ask how long have you been in business, it's like a background question. There's no pain there. It doesn't really mean anything. Um, or how long has this been a problem for? Obviously, this would have to be contextualized to what they said, but um,
Okay.
so like with this one, okay, so we're doing SEO and Google Ads. It's going pretty well. It's also up and down, looking into alternatives. So you probably say something like, okay, so the business is up and down. Um, like, okay, so what I'm hearing is the business is up and down, and and SEO and Google ads are not, you know, generating, let's say, enough consistency in your revenue. Is that right? Or is that accurate?
Okay.
This would kind of be under here as like summarizing the problem. Um, so let's see. So they have to have urgency that they want to solve this, sooner rather than later. Um, you have to know about this decision makers, which goes back to Bant. Um, Ideally, you know their finances before the next call. And if there's any red flags or they sound broke, you'd want to ask them, okay, well, how much do you have to invest into solving the problem or hitting XYZ goal? Um, or hey, I recommend to my clients that they have at least $1,000 a month to put into ads. Like, could you start? Like, do you have that money to start investing right now? It's like more of a soft qualifier, but I don't really like that one as much, because they might think that your service is only $1,000 a month. um, and then these are just like tying down, you know, that they're going to show up to the next call. They want to have a longer meeting. They'll be free for that 45-minute meeting. That time 100% works for them. They're not going to be driving. They'll either meet you in person or on Zoom. If on Zoom, I'll usually ask, have you used Zoom before? Okay, cool. You just click a link, it pops right in there. Will you be in front of a computer? And then bonus is like getting them to watch some type of homework video or something. And usually the way I frame it is like, this is going to give you more context on how I can help. And it's also going to, answer a bunch of your questions that you have ahead of time. So it'll speed up the next call. So I'm not explaining a bunch of the same things again. If I send that to you, will you watch that? Okay, cool. You might want to double tie it down. When will you watch that? Okay, gotcha. Will you send me a thumbs up, when you watched it? Yes. Okay, great. And then if I really wanted to, I could tie down as well that, on the day of, I'm going to shoot you a text in the morning just as a reminder. Will you just respond to that with like a yes or a thumbs up or anything, just to make sure that, that time still works for you? Because a lot of people tend to forget, or like, some people forget, or whatever you want to say. So that's that. And then transitioning and pitching the call, usually summarize their main pain points. So as an example here. So it sounds like the main issue is your business is going through an income roller coaster because you don't have any control over your lead flow, which is causing you to work longer hours and it's creating uncertainty in terms of your ability to scale the business, which is all coming down to the fact that you don't have a consistent marketing system. Did I miss anything? No, that's right. Okay, cool. So I've got another call coming up in a few minutes, but it sounds like this is something that I can help with. Here's what I'm thinking. Why don't we book in a longer meeting where we can go deeper and make sure that there's alignment between what you want and what I can do. And from there, if there is, we can build out a custom game plan together on what it would look like to get you to 30K per month. And of course, if you want help executing the plan, we could talk about options of how we could work together as well. If not, at least you'll have a game plan of what you can do on your own. How does that sound? You probably could add that in there, or you don't have to. And I go, yeah, that sounds good. Cool. All right, cool. I'm going to send you an invite. What's your email? Boom. Make sure you accept it so that you get reminders. Okay, cool. Send over the video as well. You have a great day. Um, and there's some other stuff in here about like objections, um, what to do as far as like if they no show or things, oh, things to send them in terms of like reminders the day of, which is all this stuff. Biggest reason people no shows is because you didn't have that good of a conversation with them. They don't really think that you can help them, and like they don't think it's worth their time.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they no show, like you know, I would I would probably call them, at least 2 or 3 times that day, or maybe the next day, like maybe like 2 hours apart, 2 to 4 hours apart. Double dial them. You can also try FaceTime audio calling them. It's like a little hack right now. Um, but yeah, this is a training that I've kind of coming up with. Do you have any other questions of things that maybe weren't on here, or weren't really covered that you would like to know about the intro call?
For the intro call, no, like I think that's pretty well get in depth. The only question was just like, you know, bridging the gap from their pain points and then circling around it are, yeah, some of the things that they would mention on the call. And I think that pretty much goes over it pretty well. So it's just mainly like listening to them asking the questions, kind of quick and thorough, 15 minutes, and then just being like, yeah, dude, like it definitely sounds like you're a good fit. Like, is this? It sounds like this, and this is going on in the business. Would you say that's true? Oh yeah, like that's exactly what's going on. Like, yeah, it's because of this. And so what I like to do is, of course, just book in a longer time, and then just give you a breakdown on how a game plan of how we would kind of go about that. Sound good, bro? Sound good. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
like,
would add in there that we would just go a bit deeper just to make sure that I can 100% help. And then if I can, if there is alignment there, then uh, we can go over a custom game plan of how we can work together to solve these problems. Sound good? Yeah.
custom game plan. Custom game plan. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. Rock and roll, dude. Well,
Sweet.
I don't really have anything else to talk about. If you have any questions, fire away. If not, we can bounce.
Okay. I got one more question. Okay, so there was this Zumba and Sound Bath studio owner that I sat down with about 2 weeks ago and been following up with her, text, calls, DMs, liking photos, whatever, like every other day. A couple days ago, I sent her a text like, hey, hey Myra, hope everything's okay. And I sent her like a ghost GIF just for like fun, but um
Yeah. Are
the
you
only
guys?
reason why she didn't buy when we got together was because the cafe we were in. Oh wait, I think I mentioned this to you. The cafe we were in didn't have Wi-Fi and her phone didn't have internet. Everything was down. Our phones were slow. She's like, I'm gonna go home right now. I'm gonna pay it and we're gonna start. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, now what?
She just hasn't responded to anything.
Nada.
Mm. And have you tried calling her?
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess I like, oh yeah, that was another thing. I could try calling her from a different phone number. I would just do that. Because I
Yeah, I
tried
mean, you
calling her.
could. Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hmm. So for like someone like that, I mean, the biggest thing is just like finding a way to re-engage her without the sales pressure. So I'm like, hey, whatever her name is, um, Mona or Sophia or whatever. Hey, I'm getting the impression that, you no longer want to do this or work together, but I mean, I don't want you to leave empty-handed. I know that I probably send you this as a voice note. I know that you had some issues around generating more leads, doing this, doing that. So, I mean, if you're open to it, be happy to jump back on a call and just kind of walk you through a game plan of, what you could be doing by yourself to get more marketing. No pressure to sign up or work with me, but just want to make sure that you're, not leaving our meeting empty-handed. And unless you maybe found another way to generate generate leads or do marketing and you're already doing that, in which case just let me know and I'll stop bothering you. But I mean, if you're still looking to solve the problem, um, just let me know. I'd be happy to, give you some pointers. And then basically, if you got her back on a meeting, I would just kind of like talk to her and see like what's up. Like, when we last spoke, you sounded like super gung ho to do this, and then you kind of went ghost. Like, what came up for you? Is it the money? Is it something else? Like, did you go in another direction maybe, or did you decide not to grow your business? Like talk to me, and then kind of like re-temp check her, and kind of tie her down again, and you know, see if you can close her.
Okay. Just try to like figure it out. Be like, yeah, like what's going on?
Pretty much, because like it sounds like it. She said it was money. Like, oh, is this the internet here? I'll do it as soon as I get home. But I'm guessing based off her reaction of just ghosting, it's literally just fear.
Yeah. Hmm. Maybe this wouldn't work
Maybe
for me.
maybe she's just like, oh shit, like that's way too much money, or she doesn't have that much money, or she's just afraid of spending it, or who knows, maybe she doesn't really feel like it's going to work, or she had second thoughts, or someone talked her out of it, or she went with somebody else. You don't really know until you kind of re-engage her.
Okay. Cool. Sweet. I'll
You
do
could
that.
also just send her a simple text like, hey, you know, I, I'm guessing that, you know, maybe you went with another direction as far as your marketing. If that's the case, just let me know and I'll stop messaging you. Just want to make sure that you're okay, and just want to see if I can help. But you never know. She
Sounds
might be like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, I got in a car accident. I was in the hospital for the last 2 weeks, and I'm glad that you followed up. As my life has been super hectic, or who knows, maybe her something happened in her family, or she might have legitimately had an emergency. Like,
hmm. True, true.
yeah, hard to know unless you get her back on. But the biggest thing is like, you're like, hey, if you're like following up, like, hey, are you know, like ready to pay now? Like, are you ready to start working together? Like, hey, like you said that you were gonna sign up as soon as you went home. Like, you know,
Mm-mm.
what's going on? Where are you? It's like it's putting a lot of like pressure on her to buy, when you kind of
Mhm.
want to take the pressure off and lean out a bit and see if she'll come back to you. And then
Okay.
best case is you get her on a phone call or another meeting.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah. So try that and see if it works.
Cool. You got it, Ben.
All right, man. Well, Godspeed. I'll talk to you on Friday if you're on that call. And if not, you have a good rest of your week.
I'll be there Friday.
Awesome. See you, dude. Let me know if it works or what
Okay.
if she responds.
Thank you, sir. Will not forget your help.
All right, man. Take it easy.